Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Angela O'Hare, your favorite Las Vegas realtor,
Hey, and I'm Rob Howe, Rockstar Realtor.
and we made it on time.
Yeah, by the skin of my teeth as usual.
Yes, let us know if you hear us. There's nobody watching, so hopefully Damien can hear us, because last time we did this, we were talking for 3 minutes and the volume was on mute.
Yeah.
That was very embarrassing. But I was able to figure it out on YouTube how to edit it down so when people rewatch the video, it won't start 3 minutes of being mute. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I know that they allow that once it's there for a minute, right?
Yep. I was able to edit and remove it. So welcome to our monthly market update. Today we're going to be discussing April 2024 numbers.
Yeah.
And obviously we will also talk about the luxury market, new construction builder incentives, as well as who won last month's bets.
Okay, I have no idea. I didn't look at anything. I've been so busy. But you look great, Ange. I wanted to say that. I hope we've been well in the last month. We've touched base here and there.
We've been busy. I've been talking about doing the exterior remodel. So next week, we're getting our new doors, new painting. And now we're kind of thinking of putting a pool in.
Oh, whoa.
Well, I'm going to be here for a while.
Yeah. That's what you do right now, right?
I know homes with pools tend to sell better and faster than homes that don't. Working in real estate, a good chunk of my clients want a home with a pool. Right?
A lot.
Yeah. A lot. So since I have the yard and the space and I'm going to be in this house for a while, I might as well enjoy it while I can before the prices start getting, pool prices are crazy.
Yeah.
Let me tell you that.
Spend some dough on a pool.
So we went to Moon Nursery, or one of those nurseries.
Moon
something.
Yeah.
Just for some of the agave plants that I like with the medium size, $1,000. Trees were $1,000. Landscaping is not cheap. So I'm glad that I have the landscaping aspect of it done. Back in the day, you used to be able to get a pool for probably 40, 50,000.
Yeah, not even that far back in the day. I would say a decent pool would be 60, 70,000.
Once 2020, everything went up.
Yep.
But I'm finding to get a basic pool and spa, like we can find one 45 to 55. That doesn't include all the bells and whistles.
Yeah.
And the spa is like $12,000. So we'll see how that goes. We're just getting estimates right now.
Yeah. Well, cool. Yeah. I know that a lot of people moving here, like people that are watching and thinking about coming to Vegas, they're coming from colder climates and they know about the heat.
Yes.
So the way that they deal with that is by having a pool.
Yeah.
Getting a house.
A lot of clients, or they'll buy a yard that has a pool size lot where they can put a pool in the future.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What have you been up to?
Oh, well, I've been up to all kinds of little things here. I went to Zion and
nice.
I was out of town, and just a couple of times, real short trips.
Right.
But then I've been very busy, of course, as we are right now. But yeah, that's pretty much.
Well, we are getting married next month.
Oh my goodness.
So that's fast approaching.
Yeah.
And we're going to Sedona for our honeymoon.
Very cool.
And I'm going to take 2 weeks off, and that's the first time I've taken 2 weeks off in 10 years.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's going to work.
You deserve it. Yeah.
I've never taken that much. Yeah, it'll be very hard. I'm sure I'll have to answer to clients and stuff.
Yeah, of course.
I will not be available for 2 weeks at the end of June and beginning of July, because it's also my birthday too.
Yeah.
And I believe it or not, folks, I will be hitting the big 50.
Wow.
50 years old.
Yeah, looking great.
Thanks.
Looking great though.
Yep.
Well, congratulations on all that as well.
Yeah.
And just awesome stuff happening in our lives.
Exciting. So enough about us, because Rob gets here a minute before showtime, so this is our time to kind of like catch up with each other's lives. So let's talk about the numbers, and I'm sure you guys are waiting. So basically, let's get this on the board.
Yeah, getting a couple nice little comments. Keep them coming. We'll answer them too. And
yeah. So, it's the spring selling season, so I expect nothing less than the numbers to be robust, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
So with that said, last month there were 2,339 single family homes that sold for the month of April, which is up 12.3% from the prior month and up 19.2% from 2021, which is pretty strong.
Yeah, not surprising because we saw inventory coming on, but then it was like
getting gobbled
vacuumed right up.
Right. And we'll try to be quick with these numbers. So with that said, the median price last month was $465. And in March, the median price was $465. It increased to $469 for the month of April with a $4,000 median price increase, which is 0.9% up from the prior month and 9.1% up from the prior year.
Yeah, I think we both thought that might be coming to some degree.
We had both predicted an increase.
Yeah.
We'll see who won that part.
Yeah, I don't even remember. It probably wasn't me. But anyway, I had done my prognostication. I thought I called 467. Just staying a little tight to the numbers there. But yeah, 2,000 more than I thought it would be. Not really a surprise. I think that that's what we're saying is not a surprise.
Yeah.
24,000 this year.
Yes.
That's been the $24,000 increase.
Yeah, because if we started at, what did we start out at?
24,000 lower. So
425?
Yeah.
No. 449,500 or something like that.
Mm-hmm. That sounds right.
Yeah. Yep. So 24,000 median price increase. And as we had predicted, because our traditional spring selling season, we always see this year over year, right?
It never fails.
Never fails. I had anticipated a stronger increase in median price based off of, the previous year's numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it wasn't as strong as I thought it was going to be based off of my predictions or anticipation, right?
Right. Yeah.
Because I made a very bold statement, which still could hold true, that my bold statement was that May of 2022, our peak was at 482,000. So currently now, April of 2024, we're at 469. I don't think it's going to happen because we have next month to see. It could possibly. My prediction was that we were going to hit May of 2022 numbers or exceed it. Yeah. So we'll see.
I I can comment a little bit. I don't think it'll happen.
I don't think it'll happen.
I do think we'll see another increase.
Yes.
Next month. I would be surprised if we don't see at least a little something.
Yes,
right?
Exactly.
But then I think it starts to get a little questionable after that, right?
I 100% agree with you, and we'll talk more about that.
Thank you. Yeah, great to hear. We're on the same page, and it'll be interesting to see.
I have a feeling the tables are going to turn for the market, in my opinion, after the quarter three.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
There's some signs on the way. Definitely a lot we could go over there.
Yeah.
I just sort of feel like the pressure has been mounting. And while we have the spring season, like we always know it's going to go, people have the need to do these things and sell property and buy property in particular. I think that is sort of going to wane as we go along.
Well, especially as we discussed in the last two videos, what's happening with the NAR settlement.
There's some fear about that.
Yeah, there's fear of that. Now, the nice thing is that initially they said that it was going to start in July. Mm-hmm. But now they pushed it towards the end of August, I do believe.
It's later in the year for sure.
Later, yeah. So I think once that takes into effect, I do believe that's really going to shift what the market's going to look like.
Yeah. I mean, like you need any more fear in the marketplace? I don't know. So, yeah. It could...
Well, and two, with Powell not decreasing the interest rates like they had announced that they were going to, if they haven't tamed inflation in the last 2 years, are they ever going to?
Yeah. Well, and this is something that is an interesting thought. Is this a new normal?
I think so. I think people are getting used to this.
Yeah. because we keep talking about it like, hey, this is not traditional. Here we are. These are the strange things we're dealing with.
Right.
It's now all the strange things we're dealing with are just normal.
Yeah.
Like that's what's happening.
I mean, we've been starting from June of 2022 is when we started seeing the interest rate hikes.
Mm-hmm.
And for 2 years, again, they haven't tamed inflation.
Yeah.
So as you say, I think this will be the new normal. I don't think they'll ever, if they do, it's going to be a long time from now.
Could be a little while.
It's going to be a minute.
Yeah.
And I thought with the whole election year, but you also have election year, and usually towards people wait to buy because they want to see who's going to become president before they even buy.
Yeah, I mean, that's even another component of that word fear, right? People
Yes.
are not sure what's coming next or what's going to happen. I think that injects itself in a way. It's traditionally a strong year for real estate, and we've talked about that a lot in an election year. I think that actually will ultimately, like when we look at it all, still bear that way. But there are some changes potentially coming. Will it mean a lot more inventory? That's going to change the story.
Right.
That would always.
Well,
is the story, right?
I mean, a lot of my clients are on the sidelines, and some of them now are saying that they want to wait to see who becomes president.
Wow. Yeah.
Because policies will change.
Yeah. I have not heard that directly from anybody, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
It is a polarizing time.
Yes.
To say the least.
And can't believe we're back here again with the two choices. The same two people.
Yeah. I mean, as
God.
we've been doing this that long, since we've been doing this now, we're about to go through a second election cycle for presidents.
Yeah. Yeah. Rob and I will mark our 4-year anniversary this summer.
Wow.
Yeah. We started right at
We
COVID.
look better than ever.
We look younger.
Yay. All right.
All right, let's get to numbers. Yeah. All right. So there were an increase in new listings as predicted because it is the spring selling season. Of course, you're going to see more listings. We had 2,874 new listings, which is up 5.5% from the prior month and up 17.3% from 2023, which is kind of interesting that we had a bigger increase in new listings than we did from last year.
Yeah. That's a interest. Yeah, that is interesting.
You know what? Before we get back to this, I do want to talk, and I always have this.
Okay.
We got busy talking about politics.
Mm-hmm.
So from April 2023 to April 2024, we had a $39,000 median price increase in single family homes. So with that said, April of 2023, the median price was at $430. April of 2022, that was $475. So that's why I don't think we will hit that peak, because of April of 2022 numbers was $475, whereas we're at $469. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. It would need to be closer to 475.
Right.
Let's just say.
Yeah, right. And then April of 2021, the median price was $375,000. Can you believe that?
Wild times. Yeah. Every time we see it and say it, it's still like, what?
Right.
Yeah.
So then we accidentally skipped over the condos median price.
Oh, this is actually.
Yes, it's a very good information on the condos before we get into that. So the median price in condos went from $282,500 in the month of March to $290,000 in the month of April, which is up 2.7% from the previous month and up 7.4% from the previous year. But the median price, so this is a record high, which broke an all-time high set in August of 2022, where the average condo townhome was at $287,000. So we broke the median price in condos and townhomes record.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think that's, something we've talked about a lot, which is people are sort of pushed down into those price ranges more and more so. And they still want to buy. And so they're getting into condos. And then they're thinking, a lot of people, I'm sure you've had this, they're like, okay, I'll get into a condo. And then later on, well, I'll either rent it out or I'll hope to have some equity and sell that property.
Right. But okay, so here's some caveats to that. When a lot of condos do have rental restrictions,
Yeah, you don't,
townhomes,
especially short term. Yeah.
And then when you get into this lower price point, you have a lot of first time home buyers, FHA and VA buyers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the FHA buyers are limited on what condos they can buy. So is the VA buyers. So you're very limited on what condos and townhomes you can buy.
Well,
so there's a lot of stipulation. So that's going to hinder your first time buyer. It hurts.
Yeah, the ones that are about able
aspect.
to do that
Right.
shoot through the roof in price.
Right.
One thing I would point out about these numbers in the condo, especially lower price range, and if they are using FHA, VA, a lot of these people do and are asking for closing costs.
Yes.
So when we're seeing inflating prices continuing, like prices still going up,
right,
that is part of the factor here, is that their sellers are bundling in. So the sellers are maybe not even, they're making, some of them, not in every area. We know Summerlin, you really can't go in and deal too much.
Yes.
But some areas of town, you can get a seller to maximize even your amount that you can get from the seller.
Right. And again, as we discussed, it depends on how long that home's been on the market. Now, if you're making an offer the first weekend that it's listed and asking for concessions, you can probably forget about it.
Might not. It really depends. But yeah. And that's what we're seeing throughout the valley now, is we're getting different different things happening throughout the valley.
Because my townhome went under contract, and
I think I knew who got that.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I think she posted it on.
It's a first-time home buyer, from what I understand. She's a teacher, FHA.
Not the buyer. I don't know the buyer.
Michelle Kubiak.
Yes, it was Michelle. Yeah.
Anyway, and of course they wanted closing cost assistance, right?
There you go.
It's first-time home buyer, FHA, and then you got to realize that the condos and townhomes, their HOAs tend to be a lot higher as well.
Exactly. So they're pressured already right out the gate, right? Yeah. So I'm glad you got that into escrow. I've known Michelle since I started in the business.
Oh, cool. I had it under escrow the first time around, but then the buyer never transferred the EMD. So they kind of just backed out. So then I had to put it back on the market. And then luckily, I hate when that happens.
Yeah.
So with that said, we have had from April 2023 to April 2024, a $20,000 median price increase in condos and townhomes. And April of 2023, that number was 270. And April of 2022, it was 275,000, which we have already surpassed that. In April of 2021, it was 202,450.
Yeah. Well, wish I bought all the condos back in the day.
Yeah.
Actually, I wish I bought anything. Throw a rock. I would just needed to do more of that.
Yeah. A lot of people believe that investing and having rentals is a thing for real estate, right? For me, I don't want to have the headache of having the rentals. And then when you sell that rental, you have to put it in a 1031 exchange and then buy more rental properties. I don't know if it's worth an investment portfolio for me.
Well, I can definitely talk about that. When I feel like, and I've got money saved for my opportunities that I hope are coming in the future.
Right.
Because I understand real estate and I would want to invest my money there versus other places that maybe I wouldn't understand so much.
True. But the thing is that once you start that game, you're going to have to either hold it and then, so for capital gain purposes, you put it in 1031, then you have to buy more rental.
But if you can get enough, it will now become passive income. It's now fixing your life. And you can basically 1031 till you drop. So people with families and children that they're going to leave property to, they 1031 till they drop, which means
it's building generational
wealth. And then ultimately, once they die, they leave it to their family, and the family no longer has to pay those taxes.
Oh,
that's a really good perk. So that's something that people will use. That's why they call it 1031 till you drop.
Well, the only reason is because, as a kid, I grew up here and we had a rental for 20 plus years. And I just see that the heartache and it's hard.
It can be. But I mean, I don't know. People
damage and destroy your house unless you can find a really good renter. And
Yeah, I get it. And so, I mean, I just had clients that were going to do that. They were going to rent the property. Then they really started thinking about it, and they were like, "Nah, let's sell it."
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
so I get it. It's not for everybody's temperament to want to do that.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. You have to have patience and not be a neat freak or something. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you kind of have to disassociate from the property.
Yeah.
You have to be able to be like, "Hey, okay, I hope I got the right people in there."
Right. So then we're going to get into the luxury market. Now, this number is pretty surprising. There were 173 homes that sold over $1 million in the month of April, compared to 133 the month before, which is 40 home increase in luxury homes.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
However, the median price slightly dipped by 5,000. It went from 1.4 million to 1.395.
Yeah. I mean, the people that I'm working with that are looking at luxury, they want certain properties. If it comes up, they're going to snag it up real quick. And there has been competition on the ones that we've wanted to get.
Oh yeah.
You know, so I do see, and sometimes luxury, just depending, you know, sometimes it's a little longer escrow period. So some of this could be actually a little backlog in a way where somebody's got into escrow, you know, longer ago.
Right.
Some of them. Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, for the ones that I've sold, they've been pretty fast, because most of mine are cash buyers and fast closing and all that good stuff.
Yeah, that's true. I think people, that just goes to show that the people are coming to Vegas. They're seeing that the luxury here is a deal compared to the luxury where they're at.
Right.
They're living in a regular old home where they were at. Now they're living in a luxury home.
True. Because where they're from, their million pluses are 500,000 type home.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
but you know, the luxury side is still strong, especially in Summerlin. I don't know too much about Henderson area, but I know in Summerlin it's still going very strong.
Yeah, all the good spots are still, you know, they're selling.
Yeah.
I mean, Summerlin is just the top.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So then we'll get back to the market update, and
we got some question there.
Yeah, let's go to.
Should we want to pop into that real quick?
Yeah, let's pop into that. You can read it.
Okay, VMC, is the market still strong in terms of price and volume?
Well, yeah.
Well, price, right? Volume is not what strong. It used to be, but it's now the new norm. So I think that's what we're talking about when we say the new norm.
Right, and we're going to go over volume in the next segment. Okay. Volume means months of supply, right? Would you say?
No, it would mean the activity or the volume of
people coming in.
Yeah, just how much is being bought and sold.
Right.
Period.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, because of, as we say, the spring selling season, you're going to have this traditional increasing of everything, right? The market's still going to be very strong.
There's more volume now.
Right.
But overall, and what we keep saying is traditionally, it's pretty low volume.
Right. Okay. Is there a lot of builder supply coming to market in the development pipeline? Well, I haven't done research. You know, a lot of these builders, there's always new construction neighborhoods coming soon. You have your Lennar homes that have pockets throughout the valley. I'd have to do, I should be doing a coming soon. I need to make a mental note of new construction communities coming soon. Right now, we're very, as we say in the last 6 months, very slim pickings in Summerlin West.
Yeah, Summerlin, you know, whatever's there is getting gobbled.
They need to hurry up with that Grand Park.
Yeah, right.
Or build more in the Kestrel side, but I think Kestrel Commons is pretty much done. Kestrel is pretty much done, but Kestrel Commons has, and they need to start building that urban core, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
it always comes last. You know, the builders can get right in, and you know they're building homes that are to spec. They can just.
Well, my thing is Summerlin has always been innovative when it comes to commercial and schools, right? But when they built Summerlin West, I don't know what they were thinking, because there's not much shopping over there, and is there even hardly any schools? There's very few schools. They need a junior high. Or middle school. They need a new high school over there in Summerlin West, because everyone is going to Palo Verde, and Summerlin is from Summerlin North. Summerlin West, parts of Summerlin South goes to Palo Verde. That's a crowded high school.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just all my life I've seen this happen to schools.
But they haven't planned it very well. I mean, in the earlier years of Summerlin, they planned very well when it comes to all the shopping conveniences being within the community. But when they built Summerlin West, I don't think they were very smart, because all you have is that Albertson Shopping Center and Desert Foothills, and that's it.
Yeah, some of this you're absolutely right. I mean, again, the builders want to get up there and build property. Sometimes the commercial comes later.
Right.
I mean, I've seen this in different areas of our town, in particular, that's still going on in some areas that if you go like as far south, they've been anemic on on commercial.
Did you see that in the RJ about how Enterprise is like booming and increasing in population, and the businesses over there?
Yeah. Yeah.
It was in the RJ the other day. I can't remember exactly what it said, but
the South is
the Southwest
just blasting off. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I can't stand the Southwest. Sorry.
Well, you know, one of the reasons why we're spoiled.
Yeah.
For me, it's about the way that the drive is over there.
Yes.
Like if I have to go out to Mountain's Edge, it's not an exciting drive.
Yeah. I have a listing in Rhodes Ranch, and I love Rhodes Ranch, but I hate getting to Rhodes Ranch.
Yeah. You know, those roads were not, speaking of planning. I mean,
well, plus now that they put the Durango Casino right there in Durango,
it's just
the main Rhodes Ranch gate. It is just a nightmare.
And there's a lot more coming. A lot more coming. And as a matter of fact, we're being asked about like the Sony movie studios that'll be in Summerlin. That Summerlin South area is not as congested by any stretch, but it also just doesn't have like a lot of the commercial.
But it will be congested once you put that. And you know, across the street on the other side, it's zoned for a casino.
Oh boy. Yeah. Yes, it is. Yes. On that.
So, on the west side,
northwest.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So basically you have these high-end homes over there. You have the Ridges, you have the Summit, now Ascension. And then of course you have the 55, which is Sienna and Trilogy. And you have these more expensive homes over there. And you're going to be putting this like bottleneck right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's going to help with the Summerlin prices. The Summerlin prices are going to start getting redonkulous, and people who bought in Summerlin are going to see some extreme equity increases, in my opinion.
I mean, that's the only way I think it could be heading over time for sure. Yeah. You know, we might see a little bit of a slowdown,
right,
as far as the train moving as fast as it has been, but yeah, it's just going there.
Well, because if you get the Sony studios, like someone asked, we don't know when it's going to be built, but they're going to have 15 studios there. That's going to create a lot of businesses. Mm-hmm. And they're going to create a shopping center first before they create the studios. So a lot of jobs are going to be coming to Vegas. So that means a lot of people are going to hopefully be buying homes. And of course, people like to be close to where they work. So they're going to be buying in Summerlin.
Of course. Or Summerlin adjacent as much as possible.
And Summerlin or the Southwest.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Just not that we need to sidetrack so hard, but I mean, the rail's coming. The
monorail.
The monorail's coming.
Isn't that in 2 years?
Yeah, but that's just like,
I heard they wanted to get it done by the Olympics in California.
Oh boy, yeah.
I think that's 2027. I could be wrong.
We'll be. I just wonder how that'll impact things. Anyway, there's so much going on, folks.
If you're smart, you figure out how to not pay taxes. How is Summerlin? How much inventory is coming? Okay, we kind of discussed that.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
They're asking about Henderson. What about Henderson? I mean, parts of Henderson are very, very popular. Most of Henderson is doing just fantastic. It's not. It's maybe the second most popular area when you go Summerlin,
right?
And then you're going to go parts of Henderson are going to be the second most popular area.
I mean, you have Inspirata, which is a mini Summerlin in a sense, where it's a master plan community with parks and community amenities, etc.
Yeah.
And then you have Cadence, which is all the way on the other side of Henderson. That to me, Cadence is more like a starter home community, first-time home buyers, young families.
Yeah. Cadence. I'm not going to disparage Cadence. I just, it's not my favorite area. It's nice. It's new.
Yeah.
It's just kind of stuck there.
Yeah. I mean, there's not much development over there. It takes a long time to get into Cadence.
Yeah.
And the same thing with Lake Las Vegas, even though Lake Las Vegas is beautiful. It just depends on where you are in your life and your affordability. Obviously, we've always preferred the northwest part of the valley. We're not going to disparage the Henderson area.
I almost did.
I know. But for me is the accessibility, because the bulk of Summerlin is on the outskirts of freeways. So you're not traipsing through tons of lights to get anywhere, where it's just a sea of shopping centers before you can get it anywhere in Henderson.
Right.
Especially the heart of Henderson, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, there's some good things going on there. And what it is that, like Cadence area, you've got a little bit of a hodgepodge of some of the oldest homes in the valley are right across over there. You've got Lake Las Vegas. It's pretty far for if you're a vegan standard.
Yes.
But once you're over and living there, I think that you get used to that.
Right. I did an analysis of clients that were looking in Sky Canyon, and they wanted to know the distance from the airport, or maybe it was Sun City, Summerlin. And so it took 25 minutes from all the way in the northwest Sun City, Summerlin to the airport. And then if you went to Sun City, Anthem, and Henderson to the airport, it took the same amount of time.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like it would, right?
Right. Because of the, you're just,
got a long way to get to.
Yes,
Anthem,
it's the
right?
lights, right? Yeah. So I found that amazing that it took the same distance from Sun City, Summerlin to the airport as it did from Sun City, Anthem to the airport. So Google it. I'm not lying. What else? What about Centennial Hills? Now, Centennial Hills is a great area. Yeah. You have that whole Centennial Hills shopping center, but they don't have much. They have little pockets of newness, but not too much new over there, right? And Centennial Hills is more like an area. And I did a video not too long ago on the top 5 areas to live in Las Vegas, because you could have like Centennial Hills, Enterprise, Paradise, Northwest, Southwest. So Centennial Hills is not really a master plan community, where it's just an area in Las Vegas, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It's not a master plan community, so to speak. You're talking about, I mean, it is Centennial Hills, but it's inclusive of a lot.
Right. Look at this person trying to solicit SEO.
We don't get any of those.
I get that all day long.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the market update. We've been going off on tangents today.
I know. Yeah. That's all right. There's lots to learn about Las Vegas.
All right. So the available number of homes. So last month there were 3,476 single family homes listed without offers on the market, which is up 4.6% from the prior month, but down 7% from the prior year, meaning that we got some new listings on the market, but it didn't really, sell as much as we are available, if that makes sense.
There were more than what got pulled off, just by a little bit.
Right. But the interesting thing is the months of supply, which to me is kind of interesting. The months of supply went from 1.6 months last month to 1.5 months, which is down 0.69% from the prior month and down 22% from the prior year. When I looked, I think last year we were at 1.9 this time last year. That would make
sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's always a little bit of this is where I'm like, okay, I'm not sure.
That doesn't make sense. Yeah. Why is it 1.5, but we have a little more inventory than we did the month before?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So then
somebody tell us that. What are we missing?
Yeah. 68.5% of the closings was on the market 30 days or less for the month of April. And then in March, that was 62.5%. And then April last year was 53.6%. So we are seeing more increases in months of, within 30 days than we did before. Because last year, even though we saw increases in median price, people were still hesitant of buying because of the interest rates were still going up, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was a little newer.
Yeah.
And I think that there's been an adjustment period, and people that want to move or have just made their plans, and that's what they're doing.
No, like you said, it's becoming the new norm right now.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, yes, people say that interest rates back in the day were 13%, but of course, home prices weren't this high either.
Yeah. No, they were. I mean, my mother has been in the business since I was in her belly, and in the 80s, yeah, they were 18+% interest rates.
Right.
But yeah, you could buy a house for 50 grand. I mean,
70,
100 grand.
Yeah.
Like, so it's
Yeah, I remember one of the houses that I bought over here and back in 2001, I bought it for 170,000. And then we sold it right before the peak at 2006 for like 315. But then we moved to Arizona, and then that 2 year, and then
oh, you got nailed
2008.
You got nailed.
So
on
we
the
bought a
Arizona
house.
Side,
yeah, we bought a house in Arizona, and then we had a short sale because of that whole market crash.
I mean, it's just this is bad luck because like you went from Vegas that got super hit to Arizona that also got super hit.
Well, at the time it was like in 2006, that was the boom. 2008 is when it. So I shouldn't have bought. I should have rented when I went to Arizona. 2020 is always hindsight, but
it happened to be that you moved to one of the 3 top places that got hit. It was Nevada, it was Arizona, and Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, we haven't really talked much about the doomers lately.
Yeah.
I haven't even been paying attention.
I just don't even look, I can't.
I don't know what's going on or what they're saying because their headlines are always the same.
I've decided I can't let this infiltrate me. Like I have to put on some shield, and there are certain people that I very much trust and listen to. And they are not the doomers. They are reasonable. They always talk about what we want to talk about, which is numbers. And hey, this is why we would see.
Well, but they've been saying the same story for the last 2 years.
Yeah,
and nothing's happened.
The clock.
They may eventually.
The broken clock is right twice a day, right? So eventually, the time may come.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So now we're going to get into new construction, and we're seeing the same builders offering the same things basically. Mm-hmm. And some builders are slowing down their move-in ready type homes, whereas some builders are still going strong with it because that's what they're known for, right?
Yeah.
Like Century Communities, most of them do the spec homes. And so their interest rate right now, if you use their in-house lenders at 5.5% on a VA and FHA loan. These have been the same things for months after months after months, right? The only time I think, as we say, is to get the best deal on a new construction home is toward the fourth quarter of the year. And that's when the sellers or the builders are trying to end the year and make numbers, right?
100%. And I think, especially what we were alluding to earlier, I think this year could be a very good year for if your plans just so happen to work out that you're coming to Vegas around later in the year,
right?
And you want to buy a new home, or really maybe any home, we'll see. It could be a better time. Now, do I think we're talking about falling through the floor and stuff like, speaking of doomer stuff? No, I just think it might get easier. And the only question is where those rates end up being.
Well,
what do you think they're going to go?
I don't think it's going to get easier for buyers to buy. I think it's going to become very hard for buyers. Now, new construction may be a whole new.
They may be able to ease it up, right? And that's what they did before,
right?
And what they kind of still do, they just don't offer.
But the only caveat is if the builders cut out the agents.
Mm-hmm. Well,
and we know certain builders, Lennar, cuts out agents, especially once the market starts getting good or during times like this.
Yeah. Well, it makes me sick. But anyway, I will say that the market still is the market and will dictate. And this is why sellers are generally not going to buy into, I don't have to pay another agent that brings a buyer. They're going to realize that's just not going to incentivize their home. And especially if we don't have as strong as competition, if it loosens up even just a little bit,
right?
You know what I mean? I think that's going to have an impact and really just send the signal. And so it'll be interesting to see what the builders do. I have throughout my career, I think you've seen it throughout yours, the builders will adjust to what they have to do to get it done.
True.
And if that means that they aren't getting people to come in because their agents aren't getting paid,
Right.
I
They
assure
will
you they
adjust
will.
accordingly.
Yep.
Exactly. So these rates are available as of it was April 25th, and you must go under contract and close by May 31st for the Century Communities deal.
Okay.
Now, KB Homes is having a special where this is a limited time offer on their move-in ready homes when you use the KBHS home loans, and you get a 4.75%.
That's new for them, right?
Adjustable rate mortgage. Now, they didn't go further as to what that adjustable was.
It's a 5.1.
Yeah, 5.1. If that's 4.8, I mean 4.75 the first year,
right?
5.75 the second year, etc. But the home must close by July 31st on that one.
Okay. Yeah, that is new for them, right?
Yeah, that's a new one.
Yeah.
Pulte offering similar, if not the same, maybe the interest rate's just slightly higher at 5.75% on a conventional loan on their move-in ready homes, 20% down, and must close by July 31st. Richmond American doing the same things again. I mean, Richmond and Century are the two that are always been
consistent.
Well, and Pulte too.
Yeah, the Pulte hasn't changed.
Yeah, Pulte is pretty much the same as well. And they are offering, if you go under contract by the 12th of May and close by June 28th, you get 4.99% 30-year fixed FHA or VA, and then 5.5 for a conventional. Or if you close by July, at the end of July, it's 5.75% 30-year fixed for a VA or FHA, or 6.25 for a conventional.
Yeah, I don't know if this changed, but I feel like the 10% down, was that always there, or were they always asking 20?
With the
With their
Richmond,
lender.
yes.
Yeah.
Because technically on a conventional loan, you're only required to put 3% down.
Yeah, they can be all.
Yeah.
People don't realize it's not always 20. It's
right.
advantageous.
But with a Pulte home, it's the 20%, and that Pulte has always been the 20%.
I guess I just didn't notice it was 10%. I thought I was seeing 20 on everything.
Yeah, no. And then Taylor Morrison is another one that's always been, the same thing. They're offering 5.875% 30-year fixed interest rate on their quick move-in homes when you use their preferred lender, and close by May 31st. So I'm sounding like a broken record. Everyone's like pretty much the same, right?
Yeah, right.
And Toll Brothers is actually, usually Toll Brothers doesn't have anything.
They've been pushing some stuff lately.
Yeah, they have it on their quick move-in homes. Again, their lender, 5.875 30-year fixed interest rate on homes that close by July 31st.
That's a few homes.
Yeah.
That's not a lot.
But oftentimes, though, Toll Brothers, when they move-in ready, is technically not really move-in ready. They're a couple months out.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying that they probably only have, how many of those?
They don't have anything that's like move-in ready today. They have some that are like August, September. You know what I mean?
That's why you really got to move to get that July.
Exactly. Now, TriPoint Homes has been having this same kind of unlock opportunity event, and it's only for 2 communities. One is receive a $25,000 in-studio design credit on select move-in ready homes at Citrine, and the other is a $15,000 in-studio design credit on select move-in home at Arrow Peak.
Oh, they've been really trying to get those sold, huh?
Yeah, they're not selling because the other community next to Arrow Peak, now I forgot right now at the time, sold super fast.
Did it? Okay.
Yeah,
so what do you think the problem is there?
They're little smaller single-story homes where the community next door are bigger single-story homes. I think, and they offered the 3-car garages where these are like the 2,000 range. They're still very nice homes.
Okay.
I can't believe I had a brain fart. Arrow Peak and the other one next to it. Oh well.
I can't. I must have been out this way, but I just don't even recall.
It's in the Kyle Point.
Okay.
Up there.
So
they have Arrow Peak, and then the next one. If anyone knows,
is it on the east side of the what is it? The 95 there? Is that where they're? Anyway.
Where did you find him?
Jeez, thanks.
Maybe you know them.
I don't know that I know them.
This is Rob Howe. He's not my boyfriend. He is a good friend that we are real estate partners in, talk about real estate. And where did I find him? I found him on Facebook.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, we were Facebook friends. We didn't even, I think we just became friends for a while, right?
Right. Yeah. I saw him on Facebook and I saw him at that time you're doing a lot of videos like
Just the
you don't,
shorts.
yeah, there's the shorts. You haven't been doing those lately, but you're
Yeah.
doing that a lot. I'm like, oh, he's like into the YouTube or the video thing, be
Yeah.
cool because it's during COVID. It's kind of boring because you
Yeah.
ain't got
COVID
nothing.
allowed me to just be a lot more consistent at that time. I think I was also alone
Right.
Anyway, it's been a little bit of a struggle for me to keep up with that, but I've definitely kept up with my YouTube. So
Exactly. Yeah. And so I kind of like took Rob under my wing and kind of showed him some things, right?
yeah, absolutely. In the YouTube world, and that's probably why I've said, okay, well, I definitely shouldn't leave behind parts of my social media, which is my plan not to. But
Right.
YouTube became such a thing of really what we have happening right now are these people that are looking at these cities from a video through
Right.
YouTube, and they want to know about them. And Ange was right on top of that, and I was like, geez, I need to get involved here.
It took you a minute to.
But I saw your genius there, and so she's helped me a lot with that. And then I realized that this is where you really want to put your eggs right now, because most of my own people that I've known for many years, that they're rate locked like I am, like you are. They're not moving so much.
Right.
Some of them are, and I still do have business from them, but it's just not the mainstay anymore.
Yeah, because you're a very successful listing agent.
Yeah, I got several coming on, folks. So if you're looking for a listing, I even have a pocket listing that's a really good one. If you're interested.
Yeah, I when I started the journey of YouTube, it was back in 2018, and my focus had always been, of course, first it was Summerlin heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I adventured out to the Northwest neighborhoods, and then my website's neighborhoods in Las Vegas. So I really wanted to focus on showcasing all the different master plan communities and neighborhoods in Las Vegas to educate people, because people don't realize how many different neighborhoods there are in Vegas. It's huge. And there's, when I lived here, I mean, I've lived here for a very long time, but before I got into real estate, I knew nothing about neighborhoods. The only neighborhood I knew about was the Lakes, Desert Shores, and Summerlin.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, so you realize something that was extremely important,
right?
And I mean, I had to put myself in those shoes, like, because it just wasn't. It was, my base has always been like, I'm going to go out.
You were born and raised here, right?
Yeah, I know people. And so I was always building off of that, and then so much has changed. All right, so we have a new norm, and hey, why not add more to my business? Why not add more? Right. I want to be more successful. So I easily saw what you were doing as so smart, and I just put myself in those people's shoes and said, okay, I'm about to move. Say I want to move from Vegas to, well, name a place, right?
Seattle.
These days you have the opportunity to do what you're doing right now.
Right.
Watch people, not just for the personality of a real estate agent. That was kind of actually something I missed for a while. It's not even about that. It's about the information about that city. What do I want to know?
Well, too, and the more information we produce on these different neighborhoods, the more knowledgeable we become as agents, because we're like, it's reiterating and reiterating and reiterating in our heads. And so we become experts in the field because we're very knowledgeable of all the different areas in the valley.
Absolutely.
Right.
100%. And that, just to segue into why the commission thing is not going to really have an impact, at least on good agents that know what they're doing. Because the community agent cannot go away. If you want true service, you want to be able to be somebody that comes into a town as a stranger to that area and really understand it. You need people like that. You need, I don't think that the technology will replace that personal edge. Ever.
Right. Well, and so to piggyback on that, for those that are looking to relocate to Vegas and want to learn about the different neighborhoods, going forward, what Nara is stating is that anytime we meet with you, before we even meet with you or while we meet with you on the very first visit, you have to sign a buyer brokerage agreement before we can even take you out and show houses, right? Yeah. Because we have such informative websites and information, if you were just trying to scope out the Vegas Valley, I think the best thing to do first is to reach out to us. We can give you a lay of the land where you can scope out. Don't expect us to really show you around.
It's definitely made that a lot harder. You can't, just hop in a car and go, let's,
I don't
can't
expect
show
us
you that.
to be a tour guide per se, where we can guide you and show you what neighborhoods to drive by yourself and look at, check out the amenities and parks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But going forward, because of this NAR, I'm not going to be doing like I used to, where I was a tour guide.
Well, you're already doing that. You're being a tour guide.
By the videos.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. But,
and then from there, people need to come and experience it for themselves. Right. And when they're ready to really get it going, then they're going to want to, hire you. That's what's happening.
To me, the neighborhood sells first before the home, right? So once you find your neighborhood, then you can find the home in that neighborhood.
Yeah, I mean, more than, more often than not.
Yeah,
that's the way.
Exactly. I mean, so once you decide which neighborhood you want to focus on, then we can say, okay, we'll start sending you listings. Then we'll show you around that neighborhood. But for you to come from out of state and want me to show you all of Las Vegas, I mean, it's just too much.
Yeah, that's always a tough ask. And we're just meeting somebody, right? So you don't know. So there's a lot to feel out there. So, getting my thing, and I think you probably agree with this, it's not about what somebody wants. I can assume a lot of things that somebody might want.
Right.
It's about what you don't want.
Right.
I'm looking to find out what you don't want so that we can narrow it down to what you want.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So we'll get into, I guess, before the bets, I guess we'll get into the bets and then we'll talk about our predictions. How's that sound?
Sounds good. Yeah.
Cat hair.
This has been we've been off-roading a little. Yeah, I saw the little, sorry.
Kitty hair.
How about a little fuzz?
All right. Rob's a fox. He's a fox. Look at all these people thinking you're hot.
Thank you.
What about me? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, you look great.
I'm just kidding. All right. So the bets. Last month, Rob said that there was going to be a 3,500 increase. So you were close to your would you say in your prognostication?
I said exact 3,000.
Okay.
Yeah. So I couldn't even remember what I said, by the way.
I said 5,000 and it was actually 4,000. So you were 500 off. So you won this one.
Hey, I got one.
Yes. You actually won this month.
Listen, this is a roll of the dice.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Right. And then for listings without offers, you said 3,275. I said 3,200 and it was 3,476. So it didn't make sense because if it was with the numbers it should have been lower.
Yeah.
I would have won that, but you won that one. You must have prices right me.
Yeah,
you did. That $75. That sounds like
I must have gone first here.
Yes,
and you went second.
So I get to go first this time.
Okay.
All right. So months of supply. Rob said 1.6 months. I said 1.5, and I hit the nail on the head at 1.5. So I only won one of the three.
Nice call there. I mean, even both of us are confused how it all makes sense. Somebody help us.
Right. So
I am going to look into that. Figure out what we're missing.
Yeah, I don't know if the Las Vegas realtors gave us the wrong information.
I guess it's possible.
All right. So I get to go first, which is awesome.
It's awesome.
I like to go first on this one, even though you were going to prices right me on it. Well, we had a 4,000 increase.
I sure am.
We had a 4,000 increase last month. We had a 5,000 increase the month before. So I think we're still going to have an increase, not as drastic as I had initially predicted at the beginning of the season. So I'm going to stick to 4,000 increase.
All right. Well,
you're going to stick to your 3,500.
I'll just go 35. I got a prices right on it. I mean, I feel like, honestly, I really think it's going to be in the 2,000 to 3,000 range, but we'll go there.
Okay. Well, the only reason I have like 4 closings this month. So, and usually May is when I have historically the bulk of my sales. And we had the bulk of the highest median price in May, so that's why I'm saying it may be a little historically based off of,
you might be right.
Prior numbers, right?
I've had a very strong closing. I mean, and
Right.
I got more comments. So it's been a big month for me. I can totally understand that. I am looking.
And then once June hits, then that's when it gets all downhill.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I can't. We don't want to be doomer on it, but I think
we'll get into more predictions better. So, now
right,
without offers.
Without offers. Oh boy, this is a tough one because I feel like I can get prices righted here. I'm gonna go with 3,600.
Okay. So you said 3,600.
Yeah.
You're increasing, huh?
Yeah, I'm increasing.
I'm not gonna go that low. I'm gonna say if we had a 4,000 increase, this is not right. You said 36. I'm gonna say 3,400.
Okay. All righty. You are next, right?
Yep. I'm gonna stay with my 1.5 months of supply.
Oh, I'm definitely going to 1.7. So,
okay.
So right, I guess
yours feels yours is saying that we're getting more inventory. We're not gonna have as much increase in median price. Mm-hmm. So you're not expecting May to be as robust month as I am expecting it to be.
I from my own, if I was just looking at my own business, I would say so. I think it's going to be a good month. I just think there has been a lot more listings coming on, and that's what I'm really looking at.
Well, okay, so I think, and we predicted this early when we heard about the NARA lawsuit, right? That things are going to shift in July, now possibly August. Some sellers now are thinking that they don't have to pay the buyer side commission, which everything has always been negotiable. The point of the lawsuit, and I'm going to beat it in the head, was that the listing agent can no longer disclose the compensation for the broker's agent or the buyer's agent on the MLS. So that doesn't mean that the sellers are no longer have to pay the buyer's agent. It just cannot be disclosed the amount that the commission is going to be presented.
Yeah. I look at this as like going to the sushi place and them going, well, how much is the fish? And they're going, well, it's market price.
Right.
So that's what we're going to find out. We're going to find out what is the market price.
So then what's going to happen is buyers, and I see I have a lot of real estate Facebook groups where buyers start reaching out to the listing agent, which we discussed in previous videos, how that's not a good thing because having the listing agent represent both parties, it's just not a fair field.
Well, dual agency is a balance, and I don't know that it's always.
Some states are banned from it.
You can't. I mean, Nevada we can, but I will say that most brokers.
My brokerage
they don't like it. They don't like it. They're not excited for people to do that because why? Because there's a conflict of interest, and because there can be more problems.
Right. Well, and then these buyers think that they can get better deals because now that the sellers aren't having to pay the commission for the buyer's agent.
Good luck with that.
But so I think what's going to happen is I don't think inventory is going to increase because sellers may not sell. And if they do sell, they may see a lower buyer pool. So I don't know how much it's really going to affect how bad the business will happen or if there will be a slight correction. What do you think?
Well, I mean, one of the things that I'm just pointing out what you're getting at. I think one of the reasons why we're seeing more inventory is because sellers are going, you know what? I don't know if I want to deal with this stuff.
Well, we'll see more inventory now because they want to sell it before this whole thing takes place.
There you go. So I'm predicting. I'm sort of baking that into the cake. I
got it. I see where you're coming from.
That's what I'm sort of seeing, and I also think that there's been a little bit of a pent up. People needing to sell, and people always needs to sell, and maybe some of these people are going, you know what, maybe this is my time to just go ahead and.
But I'm already seeing it decline. I think the sellers already are
they're starting to pull back.
No, I think they're too late.
You mean
I think it's too late for sellers to start listing because their peak already happened, and it's already,
Okay.
it's starting to slow down on that end.
So here's the inherent problem with that,
Right.
that I see. And I think just because I'm not saying you're wrong, I would say that if sellers are doing that, where are they deciding they are going to get in the market?
Well, I think, if they do list, don't expect to get top dollar as they would expect if they would have listed a month or two ago.
Yeah, maybe you're not getting the next highest number.
Right.
You're not toppling over, going over your neighbor that just sold for the same exact property.
Exactly.
And especially in certain areas. There are definitely different, conditions happening. If you're in Summerlin, we're going to tell you a different story. I think you're probably going to do well all year long.
But again, as we mentioned, it's going to, the buyer pool is going to decrease because buyers who can't afford an agent, especially first-time home buyers and VA buyers, will try to, either try to get a deal with the listing agent. There's going to be a whole lot of convoluted trickery.
Yeah, I hope
that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm hoping that some of this being delayed, that we get more and more, details on how to deal with this, because one of the things that this kind of just came down very quickly, and we're having to make some assumptions rather than getting actual, like, here's for sure what's going to happen and how this is going to
right. I mean, the main thing is going forward, and my brokerage is requiring us to start now, is doing the buyer brokerage agreement. Before I even show you houses, we'll meet at my office, go over the agreement. And basically what the agreement states is, say we start with a price of, I always start with 5%, because then I put in the additional notes, because some builders offer me more. But if the minimum would be 2.5% in my additional notes. And if the seller is only offering 2%, then you have to pay that 0.5% difference. But if the seller is giving me 5%, then you don't have to come up with that 5%. The base is always going to be 2.5. Does that make sense?
I'm not sure.
For the agent to the agent to agent. Are
you talking about from the seller side? Like you're
in the buyer brokerage agreement, there's additional notes for the buyer. So to help protect us, so basically the base price that I'm saying and of course this is negotiable, it's not set in stone, but let's say that we're going to say that the commission is 2.5%. Now let's say the seller is going to agree to give me 2%.
Okay.
So that buyer has to pay that 0.5% difference.
Of course.
Yeah, all right.
I understand.
But now what happens if the seller
is offering more?
If offering more.
Yes.
At 3%, then
so you've got to maximize. So you've got to say this could be all the way up to 5. This. And then you've got to be able to say, but if it's not, I'm not going to make you pay
right.
X amount.
Exactly.
That seems incredibly fair. Yes. And I think that is if that's what we can do, then I'm all aboard, all on board with that.
Yeah. And I'm sure in the next month, we're going to be getting more guidelines, probably a new buyer brokerage agreement written up.
Yeah. It's got to,
things, the listing contracts have got to change too.
Yeah, certainly.
Lots of things are going to be changing. So,
and this is where I'm saying, like, people can make their assumptions and they can say, hey, here's, I think that's putting the cart a little bit ahead of the horse here, but it's not to say you shouldn't be thinking about it and figuring out how you're going to deal with your business.
Right. Just going forward as a buyer, if you want to start buying after August, you need to be aware that you may have to be paying for your agent.
Yeah, and this is where I just, this is absolutely ridiculous to me, and that will harm the market. That will harm buyers who are first-time home buyers. It's just they are changing stuff with VA. They're changing stuff to allow more credits to be allowed for FHA, so that it's not just
Right, but as agents, of course, we're going to try to negotiate it in the
That's
offer.
Virtually what it is, which. I don't see how this helps the consumer at all.
What's going to happen is that a lot of buyers may be going for these agents that aren't as experienced, that are willing to just take you and for the money, no matter what you're going to pay them.
Desperate.
They're more desperate, where you're not going to get the good customer service that you deserve, or the experience, or especially the knowledge.
Yeah, I do think for the most part, because we've had so much lower volume, that we have shed a lot of weight on when it comes to
Buyers.
real estate agents that are not maybe servicing people as
I mean,
well.
we still have 17,000 and
Well, that 17,000 would be the ones that are licensed, but who's active?
right.
Right. And I think a lot of these people have been suffering for a couple of years.
Yeah, it will definitely get rid of the pool of buyers agents.
Yeah. It's going to change the game. So but it's going to change the game. I think ultimately it's going to land. It's just got to go through a little period. So I wouldn't want to put too much fear on people out there that want to buy and sell real estate. We're going to figure that out for you.
Right.
We're going to figure it out. And I would hope that ultimately it's really not costing you anything more, that you can worry about what matters to you. How much am I getting on my house when I sell it?
Mm-hmm.
And how much is it going to cost me to buy my house when I buy it?
Right.
Plain and simple.
Yeah. All right. We get another question. Angela, are single story homes 1,250, 1,500 square feet available in Vegas, or do they last?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's lots of single story. You're talking probably single story homes. Yeah. Especially, I don't know how
100%.
old you are, but retirement communities have tons of single story homes in that square footage range. There's a lot of single story homes in that range.
Yeah, and probably more in the lower square footage range, just because people are there. The heart of where people want to buy is probably 1,500
and up.
Right. Like that 15 to 17, 1,800 range is really, really popular in a single story.
Yeah, and depending on how many bedrooms you want too, right? Because the smaller usually has the 2 bedrooms instead of the 3 bedrooms.
Yeah, and if it's 1,250 with a 3, it's pretty tight.
Exactly.
But there are those.
Yeah, but all day long, retirement communities have those sizes. But I don't know if you're in retirement age or not.
For sure, that's I call it like, no, you're not staying here home.
You know what? I love retirement communities. As you know, if you watch any of my videos, I focus heavily on retirement communities. And I
enjoy it too, by the way.
Yeah. And you know what? People have a mindset that when you buy in a retirement community, it's usually harder to sell, but not in Vegas, because we're a retirement destination. A lot of times the homes in these retirement communities, depending on the community, are hot sellers and they sell fast.
Especially if they're upgraded.
Yes.
Especially upgraded ones. The ones I see that hang around are the ones that overprice them and then they need still work.
Yeah.
And that's going to always be trouble no matter where that house is at, but in particular in that market.
All right. If you guys don't have any other questions, we'll hang on for a minute. Do you have any last words of wisdom?
Let's see. Well, not particularly. I think just there's going to be plenty of real estate action happening. So even though we've talked about some things that I think are negatives to our business, they're going to work out. And just keep watching, because we're gonna.
Yeah. So we're not always saying peachy keen, and we're not always positive about everything, because the unknown's going to be happening in the next couple of months.
You gotta live in reality.
We just don't know what's going to happen. But based off of what my feeling is that I don't think prices will go down drastically, like the boomers predict crashing and stuff, but I don't see a lot of action going on.
The inertia that has been here is going to slow down a lot. Right. And I would just think that.
But I think the higher end buyers are going to be ruling the roost.
That I'm glad I meant to say that earlier too, is that, these are the people that really aren't going to get fed. It's kind of sad.
Yes.
It's like always this happens. It's like back in 2008 when the crash happened, who got rich? The rich got richer. They were the one who could buy who could buy $10,000, $50,000 homes.
Even the middle class is becoming unaffordable for the middle average Joe person.
Yeah. So what's going to happen is that the market where people can pay cash and just move on with things and make it happen is going to continue. And guess what? They're not going to pay much attention to this whole, not paying commission thing. They're going to be paying commissions and making deals happen.
And that's why I think the luxury market will still remain strong.
Yeah. You almost got to keep your eye on that and see how that acts.
Which before it used to not be that price point. Remember, the price point that was very strong was like the 300, 400 range. But now it's like.
Well, that's where the bulk of people could afford things. And it's still, still the more amount of sales happen in the lower price range. But what you have is that you have basically a continued amount of people that have been buying luxury,
right?
That hasn't really changed much, but all the other lower end people have had. They're the ones taking the hit. They're the ones. This is squeezing super hard,
right? And then all the things that we have coming. We have the new baseball field coming. We have the monorail coming. We have the Sony Studios coming. So even if we have a lull, it's going to be a very little lull, and it will just tick back up.
Yeah, I mean, you can't always. There's always factors you can't predict, which would have to do with overall economic things. But strong stay strong, and Vegas is strong, and that would be a message that I would just continue to say. How can we tell anybody at this point, don't get your tail over here and buy, because we think something's going to be better on the horizon. Every time that has been talked about, it just hasn't been true.
Right.
So we have to be careful and go by what's really happening. So if you're coming, come get the best deal you can. Make sure you're in good position to do so. And hey, live in a great city.
Yeah. So at the end of in the description below, I've posted a link to a blog post, as well as a link to the Las Vegas Realtors monthly market update of all the numbers for condos, townhomes, and single family homes. But if you don't have any questions, Rob and I are going to end it. And thank you guys so much for watching.
Rock on.
And do it peacefully. And we'll see you on the next one. And